Hello guys and welcome back to another video in the environmental law series. In the last video we have already looked into the Air Act, and in this video we are going to move on to the Biodiversity Act. Firstly, let's look into what do you mean by biodiversity. Now, biodiversity is nothing else but it includes all the types of plants, animals, flora, fauna and even microorganisms for that matter in an ecological environment. Now coming to the Biodiversity Act, this act was the answer to the United Nations Convention on the Biodiversity in 1992. So this convention basically focused on the fact that how a country should use their own natural resources. Now let's look into the aims of this act. First and foremost, the main aim of this act is to obviously conserve the biodiversity. The second is to look into the sustainable development. Thirdly and lastly is to make sure there is an equal sharing with regards to these natural resources. Another advantage of this act is to look into all the benefit which arises from the various expertise which can be learned from the local resources. Now just like any other environmental law related act, this act, the Biodiversity Act, also looks into various kinds of definitions, procedures and also gives out various authority which looks into the mechanism how to conserve the biodiversity. Now let's move on to the important definitions with regards to the Biological Diversity Act. Now the first definition this act gives, or the first definition it is very important to understand, is the biological diversity. Now biological diversity is given in the section 2B of the Biological Diversity Act, which states that biological diversity means the variability among the living organisms, that is the various living organism or the variety of living organisms from all the resources. Okay, these resources may be land or even water for that matter. Okay, and the ecological complexes of which they are the part of. Ecological complexes are that means the seasons or the various stages the ecological go through, okay, and which they are the part of, and this includes the diversity within the species itself, okay, or between the species and of that of the ecosystem. Okay, now that's the definition of the biological diversity. Now let's move on to the second main or important definition when it comes to the Biological Diversity Act, and that is the biological resources. Now biological resources mean all the plants, animals and the microorganism and also the part thereof, and their genetic material and byproducts excluding value added products, okay, and with actual or potential use of the value, but does not include human genetic materials. So this includes biological resources, only includes the plants, animals and the organism, okay, and genetic material and byproducts which can be actually used, okay, and or may have value to it. Now let's look into the various authorities which have been appointed to reserve or to conserve the biological diversity. Now the Biodiversity Act provides for three main regulatory boards to conserve the biodiversity. The first one is the National Biodiversity Authority, that's the highest in the tier. The second one includes the State Biodiversity Board, and the lastly and that of the local level is the various biodiversity management community. Now let's look into these various boards, their constitution and also the functions they perform. Now firstly, the National Biodiversity Board, it was established in the year 2003, and the main duty of it is to function and facilitate various functions in relation to the biodiversity. And the main headquarters of the National Biodiversity Board is situated in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Now the National Biodiversity Board consists of the members which are usually appointed by the central government. So the central government appoints the members of the National Biodiversity Board. Okay, now the first of such members include a chairman, okay, a chairman, and then we have the three ex officio members. This includes one which representing the ministry dealing with the tribal affairs and two representing the ministry dealing with the environment and the forest. Okay, so that's how you get the three ex officio members. Later we have the 7 ex officio members, which includes 7 ex officio members which represent the central government and deals with various other sectors in relation to the biodiversity. Now these other sections include agriculture, research and education, biotechnology, ocean development, agriculture and cooperation, Indian system of medicine and homeopathy, science and technology, and lastly the scientific and industrial research. Furthermore and lastly, there are more 5 non-official members to be appointed, okay, and these are amongst the specialists and the scientists who have special knowledge and experience which is required in certain matters. Now these are all the members, official and non-official members of the National Biodiversity Authority. Now let's move on to the functions in relation, or the functions which the National Biodiversity Authority perform. Now some of the functions of the National Biodiversity Authority include the basic ones, that is to promote conservation and sustainable use of the biodiversity. This is one of the aims of the Biodiversity Act itself. Okay, the second one is another one of the common duty which the National Biodiversity Authority performs, that is to advise the central government. Okay, since it's a central government authority, it advises the central government with regards to the various activities, and it includes also to give out guidelines, especially with regards to the biological resources. Okay, it also gives out various guidelines in order to oppose the grant of the intellectual property rights outside of India. Okay, so this is with regards to whenever there is a intellectual property right with, or especially this is with regards to the geographical indication which anytime gets trespassed by a foreign country. Okay, so this is when the National Biodiversity Authority can step forward and oppose the grant of such intellectual property right. Okay, lastly, another major function the National Biodiversity Authority has is to advise the state government itself. Okay, because it's the higher authority, national authority, so quite obviously it also functions, or also has a function to advise the lower authority or the subordinate authority, which here in this case is the state government, with regards to various kind of issues. This may be including the or heritage sites, or even the management suggestion for their management. Now that we have finished with the National Biodiversity Authority, now let's move on to the state biological boards. Now the state biological board are established under section 22 of the Biodiversity Act. Now the structure of this structure of the state biological board consists of a chairman, okay, not more than 5 official members which represent the concerned departments of the government. Okay, furthermore, not more than 5 members amongst the experts of various sectors, experts from the various sectors. Okay, and all the members herein are appointed by the respective state governments itself. Okay, furthermore, let's look into the functions of the state biodiversity boards. Now the main functions include advising the state government in regards to the guidelines which have been issued by the central government. Okay, so it's the central government, whenever they give out any guidelines to the state government, it is the duty of the state government to look into these guidelines and make sure to follow them. Okay, furthermore, it regulates various approvals in regards to any commercial utilization of the biosurvey and bioutilization of any biological resources by the people. Now let's move on to the last authority, which is the local level authority, biodiversity management communities, and these are established under section 41 of the Biodiversity Act. Now these committees include every local body, okay, which is within the area for the purpose of promoting such a conservation. Okay, so it has to be within a particular area or the particular jurisdiction, okay, where the conservation and the use of the sustainable use is required. Now, these committees include a chairperson and not more than 6 persons nominated by the local body. Out of the total of these management, not less than 1/3 should be women, and not less than 18% should belong to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Okay, the chairman of the biodiversity management committee shall elect from amongst the members of the committee in a meeting to the chaired by the chairperson of the local body. The chairperson of the local body shall have the casting votes in case of a tie. Now the functions of this biological management committee includes the main function, which is to prepare people's biodiversity register in consultation with the local people. Okay, another function of the Biological Management Conservative Committee includes to register comprehensive information on availability and knowledge of the local biological resources and their medicinal or any other use if needed. Now lastly, let's look into the topic of the heritage sites. Now section 37 of the Biological Diversity Act looks into the various important matters in relation to the heritage sites. Now these heritage sites are the sites of national importance and local importance. Now that's all for today's video. In today's video we learn about the Biological Diversity Acts. We looked into the aims of the Biological Diversity Act. We looked into the various boards and important definitions. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.